I'd like to welcome Brian Davies right now, Head of Restructuring at Capstone Partners. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't we start off by having you tell us a little bit about your firm and the types of transactions you go after and deal with mostly.
Sure. Capstone Partners is what I call a traditional corporate finance group, and that was the outgrowth of the Arthur Andersen corporate finance practice in Boston. And it originally was just a small to mid-market investment banking firm, really focused on most industries, but stayed within the investment banking M&A advisory realm. The founder, John Ferrara of Capstone, and I are close friends. We stayed close for quite some time. And as my career progressed, we spent a lot of time talking about why Andersen's practice was very successful. That corporate finance practice was growing faster than any practice in the country at the time. And it was really because we could provide all things to all people as far as corporate finance needs was concerned. And what Capstone was missing was really a restructuring practice. So at the time I had started my own practice, and it made a whole heck of a lot of sense to roll that practice underneath the Capstone umbrella so we could have the same thing. Very, very similar to what we had at Andersen. That was about 3.5 years ago, and it's worked great. I think we can cross-feed off each other. We've grown pretty rapidly. We have offices, we're headquartered out of Boston, have an office in New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, LA, Silicon Valley. We just opened one in London. Still a small firm, still catered to the small to mid-market size companies, but growing rapidly, and it's looking good.
And I'd like to congratulate you because you're going to be getting an award. You want to tell us about that transaction a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's a great example of companies that we work on. Relatively small company in the specialty electronics space. A lot of imports from China, but they were very specialized in very high-end sound systems. So as the real estate market was booming and there was these large houses and structures being built throughout the country, they were booming. Very top-end systems, and they grew very rapidly. And as the market crashed in the housing market, so did they. Very typical of a company of their size, the management team, they took it through the growth stage. They were always waiting for the next year to get back to where they were, and they weren't willing to kind of downsize the company quite fast enough to kind of evolve and be nimble for the next time around. We were brought in. One of the banks that they had asked us to come in and work with the company. The company hired us. We went in. Somewhat traditional. It was pretty challenging. It was a great transaction. We did everything from we divested a money-losing division. We relooked at the head count. As always, it's an unfortunate piece of what we do. We really looked at the products and what they sold and how they sold, and how they went to market, how they brought those products to market logistically, and really reshaped the whole thing with the current management team. Had a real strong management team. Had a great owner. And she was very willing to work with us as we kind of went through the process. Yes, we downsized the company, but now it's a profitable business. It's doing well. Saved a lot of jobs. I stay in touch with them all the time, and it's a good success story. It
Congratulations.
Really is. Thank you.
So when you first were taking on this transaction and you were thinking ahead to what was involved, and then you were actually in the midst of it and you had these hurdles before you, was there anything you didn't see coming or didn't expect as much?
Yeah, in that particular case, there's always surprises that happen. What surprised me most is really how much strength our Chinese vendors had. They had a product line that was very specific, and so dealing with them directly was difficult because we didn't have a heck of a lot of leverage. We owed them a lot of money. We certainly didn't have to pay them. So it was the constant daily interaction with the Chinese vendors who, we owed them money. They wanted to get paid. They don't understand the process, and we had every intention of paying them, but they were probably our biggest hurdle to continue to deal with. We found a way, and the same vendors are there. They still supply them to this day, and I think they're happy they stuck by us.
Done deal, and a great success story.
Yeah.
So as we look into the rest of 2014, we know that there's a lot of competition out there. The market's a little bit soft right now. But the speculation is that interest rates will be going up.
Right.
Is that what you foresee?
Yeah, I think so. And the restructuring world is funny. We've been talking for years about the next restructuring boom, like it happened in the early 2000s, and we've all been waiting for it. And every conference we go to, we're always saying, "Oh, next year, and when's it going to hit?" I don't think we're going to have that boom. I think we'll have a slight rise because there's a pent-up demand with the amount of liquidity that's out there. So with us in the restructuring world, rising interest rates is a benefit to us, as odd as that sounds, because the availability of cheap capital is not there for these companies to solve their problems. And most management teams believe that all they need is more money, which gives them more time, and that's going to solve the problems because we just this one issue at this one particular moment that's the problem.
That's not the case.
That's not ever the case, really. Most likely, it's always an operational issue that needs to be resolved, and more money helps to solve an operational issue sometimes, but really all it does if you don't solve those issues is just gives you more runway, and then you don't have the money anymore, and you've got more of a problem because you have more leverage, and you have harder issues to deal with. So rising interest rates will drive a lot of these companies into a restructuring process because they won't have the availability of cheap funds.
Great information, and again, congratulations on your award, Brian.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for being with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.